Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Black Siren and how are we doing today? Are we sad, happy? What did you eat today? Let me know in the comments. I am so sorry. I apologize for the MIA, but I'm back with another video and 今天呢，我准备给大家辣一个大的。Remember the hoodie drama from TikTok that we talked about in this channel? That was funny, but juvenile. Completely different from today's story. A lady single-handedly took over the whole internet. She made a whole saga called Who the F Did I Marry? She made 50 parts, telling the netizens about her pathological, lying, cheating husband. The videos had garnered 500 million views and she had gained 3.5 million followers in just a month. If the hoodie incident was a juvenile high school drama, then today's story would perfectly cater to us adults. And I took some time, actually a lot of time, because like I said, they were 50 parts. 8 hours. I watched them all, so you don't have to. Because my job is to condense them and make it more digestible than deliver it to your ears. Regardless, this is probably going to be the longest video I've ever made in my channel. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I'm only gonna find out until I'm editing. But just so you know, you're going to spend a lot of time with me on this journey. So buckle up. And since there's 50 parts, I'm going to tell you the story in a chronological order. So every person, every incident, every detail I'm going to mention in the story, please remember them because they're all important and we're gonna come back to that. And before we start this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. Do it now, bitch. Do it right now. Okay? You did it? Okay, so yellow, without further ado, let's get started. Reesa Tisa. She is the main character to this story. Her real name is Teresa Johnson, but we're just gonna call her Reesa. She was born in New Jersey and currently living in Georgia. She's working at Georgia State Patrol as a civilian officer for almost 8 years now. Around March 4th, 2020, right at the peak of the pandemic, we all been there. It was a dark time, isn't it? Reesa met a guy who goes by the name Legion. They have met on Facebook. They started chatting and exchanged their phone numbers. I guess it was the COVID being the catalyst. Everything happened rapidly. So they started talking on the phone. Legion had told Reesa that he was born and raised in Philadelphia. He lived in Georgia for a short period of time, only for high school. Then he moved to San Diego, California, graduated from San Diego State. Back when he was in college, he was playing football, not just regular football, yellow boom. He was playing arena football. And the way he described it, he was like, I won a lot of championships. He used to work for Apple. Now he's actually working for a condiment company and he just got promoted recently as a regional manager. Both of his parents passed away. His mom was a teacher and his dad was a police officer. 2 biological brothers, 2 half-brothers from his father's side, and 2 sisters, Shantae and Kim. Remember that. And according to Legion, he has a very good relationship with his brothers. He would spend at least 30 to 35 minutes every single day talking to them on the phone.
We see each other. We see each other.
He also said he was once married before, but divorced because his wife cheated on him. The story goes, one day he came home and busted his wife was sleeping with another man on the bed. So obviously punches were thrown. He kicked them out. He was like, girl, you made your own fucking bed. You fumbled your bag, so you gotta go. But the kids can stay with me. So when he kicked his cheating ex-wife out, even the kids were siding with him on this infidelity. They were like, Mom, you fucked up. You need to go. I'm gonna stay here with my dad. But guess what? The kids are not even his.
Girl, shut the fuck
It's
up.
his stepkids. So apparently his ex-wife has a son and a daughter. Yep, that's what he said. Apparently, he's very close to the kids. They have a good relationship. He always talks to them on the phone. He will send money to the kids. And now he's moving back to Georgia from California, hoping to start a new chapter, to find somebody that he can cherish, love, looking for a serious relationship, to buy a house, to have a future together. And everything just took Reesa by surprise because Reesa had never met a guy who talks more than her. She's like, you know what? I'm not hating it. Okay, this guy sounds like he's a keeper. And since they really like each other, they spend a lot of time talking to each other on the phone literally every single day. So they met on March 4th. And 3 days later, on March 7th, Legion had asked Reesa out on a date. They decided to meet at Cheesecake Factory. On the day that she's on her way to the restaurant, and it just happened, her tire blew off. So she had to pull off at a random gas station and text Legion. She said, hey, sorry, my tire just blew off. I'm actually in the gas station right now and trying to fix my tire, so I might be running a little bit late. Sorry for the dilatory. Then he texted her back saying, where are you right now? Drop me a pin. I'll come to rescue you. So our girl Reesa, she's excited obviously, but also she's worried about what if he looks different from the picture, because this is slowly became a societal normality that everyone, almost everyone, will edit the shit out of their pictures nowadays, especially when it comes to online dating. So Reesa was worried about, okay, what if he's ugly as fuck? What if the car pulls off and Goblin walks out? And surprisingly, he looks exactly just like the picture. He walked out of the car. He appeared to be 6'4". That's very tall. That's a fucking giraffe, by the way. He fixed her tire. He even took her to a tire shop to take a further look to see if there's any additional problems. And he paid for everything. Oh, she thought it was the sexiest thing ever. A guy knows how to fix tires. And taking her to the tire shop to take a further look, and on top of that, he paid for everything. What a refined man. That just gave her butterflies. And the butterflies almost flew out of her mouth, let me tell you. That just, you know, she was changing her thumb. That it was Niagara Falls down there. So during dinner, Legion had told Reesa that he was 42 at the time. Remember, this happened in 2020. And he's looking for marriage because his parents were always the role model to him. They were married for 40 plus years, and plus his wife cheated on him, so that's something that he always wanted it. He's dating for marriage, not just for fun. And Reesa never actually mentioned her age, but from all the information I gathered, all the information that she had told to the audience, I believe there's at least a 5-year age gap. Reesa was listening. She was like, oh, no fucking shit. I'm also looking for a husband. You're the key to this log. So on that night, they both came to a realization that they were on the same page. Do it now. So the date went well. They continued the conversation in Legion's car while the background music was playing. I don't know if that was on purpose or it was just a random coincidence. So the background music was one of the John Legend song called Good Night, and the lyric goes, I think I just met my wife. I know it's gonna be a good night. They wove the threads of time with their words, conversing beneath the canopy of stars, sharing the constellation of their dreams until the night whispered its secrets to dawn. If that's not poetic, I don't know what is. Within about 2.5 weeks, the governor put Georgetown into a lockdown. And as the COVID being the catalyst, the chemistry between them was just bubbling it up. Legion lived by himself in a studio, which he kept saying it was just temporary. He's going to get a house very soon. And he even showed Reesa an email. So the email was from a woman who also worked for that condiment company, and she was helping Legion get in contact with a realtor. And the email reads, this should have been taken care of before you got here. I'm sorry for the delay. They ended up deciding to quarantine in Reesa's place because her place was ample enough for 2 people. She was renting a home that has 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms, so that was enough for a couple. So initially, Reesa was torn about this decision due to her religious background. Growing up, she goes to the church a lot, so for her to decide letting a man who's not her husband to live with her is a lot. But at the same time, she didn't want to quarantine by herself. I'm pretty sure we all remember 2020. It was a dark time. I quarantined by myself, but how I wished if I could quarantine with my family members or my friends or my... Probably not, but you get what I'm saying. Plus, Legion had agreed on paying all the household bills, the rent, the utilities. Being a single woman who lived from paycheck to paycheck, this was a huge relief on her financial burden. During the quarantine, Legion had told Reesa, babe, I love you. I want to marry you. So I'm gonna start looking for houses for the both of us, okay? To kind of just show Reesa that he's serious about this relationship, okay? He's not bullshitting. Yeah. And to furthermore solidify his seriosity, he showed Reesa a bank statement with an emblem on the top. That means it's legit. So on the bank statement, it shows that Legion was qualified for a mortgage of $750,000. $750,000? Reesa was like, that's a lot. Even for the interest rate, can you afford that? Because with my salary, I can't. Don't worry, babe. I can take care of everything. That's also why I am approved for this mortgage, because I have the funds and the bank trusts me. I have the capability to take care of everything. So shh, don't worry. Then he also told Reesa that he has 2 American accounts, 1 offshore account in another country. That's where he keeps most of his money there. I was like, offshore accounts? I mean, I get it. You probably have some money. You play football and shit. But are you that rich? Because here's the thing. What kind of people have offshore accounts? Multi-millionaires or billionaires. Offshore accounts are not free because first of all, you need to have a certain amount of money in that account to keep it active. And secondly, you need to pay to the bank. Let them manage the account for you. It's like a subscription fee. So if you don't have enough money and you wanted to open an offshore bank, the bank will probably tell you, you're poor, go fuck yourself.
I think the fuck not, you trick ass bitch.
So they start looking for houses. Reesa found the first house. It was asking for $400,000. They really loved it, but due to COVID, if the owner still resides in the house, they were not able to physically have a tour in that house. They can only do virtual tours. So they did a virtual tour. They really loved it. So Legion was like, you know what? I'm gonna put $5,000 earnest money on this to see if we accept it. Sounds promising, right? And a couple days went by. Reesa got a call from the realtor. The realtor asked her, she was like, hey, are you guys still interested about the house? Because their other couple also wanted to buy this house. Then Reesa was like, what do you mean? I thought my boyfriend already put down the deposit. Deposit who? What deposit? Never heard of it. Then Reesa was like, okay, I'm gonna ask him. Reesa brought it up to Legion. And immediately, bitch, he was mad. He was ballistic. He got all defensive. He was like, oh my god, she should never call you. She should have called me first. That's so unprofessional of her. What is wrong with her? Then Reesa was like, did you pay the deposit or not? It's a yes or no question. Like, simple as that. Just tell me yes or no. Then Legion was like, I did. But I didn't pay to her. I actually went through a friend of mine who's also a realtor because I want him to make the commission. Then she checked the housing website. So on the housing website, people are able to see the status of the houses, right? To see if they're still selling, they're under contract, under negotiation, or the house is being sold. So on the website, that house was under contract. That means someone has already making an offer or they're negotiating, like in the process of selling it. Then Legion was like, see, I told you I did. Why didn't you believe me? Reesa was having doubts, but after seeing the website, she was like, okay, I guess I was dumb. He told Reesa they can start looking for furniture now. Since the owner decided to take all the appliances, like the stove, the refrigerator, everything, like they have to repurchase everything. So Reesa spent a lot of time browsing on the furniture website, Home Depot, IKEA, whatever, getting decoration ideas from the internet. She was really excited. She's like, oh my god, we're about to move. This will be our first home. We're gonna have a future in that house together. She actually drove by the house, like she watched it from the outside. She's like, I can really see myself having a family there. And it was also this time, Reesa started recording audio diaries. She would record the things, the incidents that happened in her life or the thoughts that was mind-bugging her. April turned into May. Reesa found out that she's pregnant. Obviously, Legion was excited. He's like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a father. But on the other hand, Reesa was not, for a couple of reasons. Because she's overweight and she's no longer in her 20s anymore. So she understood that this pregnancy will be challenging. And another thing is due to, like I said, she has religious background. And because of that, she just felt embarrassed and frustrated that she got knocked up by a guy who's not even her husband yet. So she was like, Lord, this is not my proudest moment. And along with all that, she just felt like something was off. She couldn't exactly pinpoint what was it that raised her eyebrows, but her instincts just told her something was off. Something doesn't sound right here. But on the other hand, she was having the devil versus angel moment. She kept telling herself, okay, you finally found a guy who likes you a lot, who's willing to have a future with you, who's willing to buy you a house. Girl, you deserve this. Okay? Like, it's your time to shake your ass on the yacht. And also, everything just seemed very legit because Reesa had physically seen those paperwork, those documents with her own eyes in real life. And a couple days later, Legion had told Reesa that the house would be officially sold to them after the virtual closing. According to Legion, a virtual closing is when people sign a contract with their electronic cigarettes. What the fuck? Signature. I guess this is something that you really have to be in that scenario to know whether if it's legit or not, especially during COVID. Everything just sounded very reasonable. Regardless, everything is heading to the right direction. It just seems like they're on the right track. Even though there was some suspicion sprouting inside of her, but she kind of just nipped it in the bud. Because who would go this far to lie to people? It doesn't make any sense. And on June 5th, Reesa checked the website again and she found out that the house was sold. And was it sold to Legion? Probably not. So under the house information, there's also a number of the realtor. She called the realtor and she found out that the buyers were a white couple. Yeah, Legion didn't buy the house. Reesa asked him about the house, knowing he's probably gonna give her some excuse. Legion said, yeah, there's something wrong with the interest rate. The interest rate was too high, so that's why I didn't buy the house. The house fell through. Then Reesa told herself, yeah, he didn't get the house. And now you're pregnant with his baby. That's fine. It's just our first house. You know, the first house fell through, there's always another one. As long as we can start our family in the new house, I'm Gucci. Then Legion was like, sure, babe. Of course, 100%. Subsequently, Reesa started having cramps and bleeding. So she went to the doctor to check if the baby was still okay. But unfortunately, the baby had no heartbeat. And the doctor gave her 3 options. One is let everything happen naturally, so the fetus would just fall out by itself. Or she could take a pill. The pill would cause contraction and force the fetus to fall out from his body. Or she could go to the hospital and have a DNC surgery and surgically remove the fetus. And since it was the COVID, nobody wants to go to the hospital. So she said, okay, I'm gonna take the pill. After almost dying, throwing up, there was still residual tissues inside of her. So she still had to go to the hospital to get surgically removed. So basically she suffered for nothing. Now it's July. Legion came home. He told Reesa that he just got promoted as the VP in his department. Not the whole company, but specifically in the department that he works at. So they're going to have a promotional meeting on the day that Lisa's supposed to have the surgery. What do you mean? You're not going to be with me at the surgery? You can't just let me go by myself. What about my sister? Legion said. She's 45 minutes away and she's a nurse and she's practically a family. Then Reesa said, I don't fucking know your sister. I've never met her. This is a private matter. Like, it should be you. You're the only option. Then Reesa had to call her friend to explain everything. She just feels so embarrassed. She's like, girl, I'm going to the hospital to get the baby out. Fortunately, her friend was being very supportive and non-judgmental. So before the surgery, Reesa called Legion, but somebody else picked up the phone because apparently after Legion got promoted as the VP, the company had assigned him an executive assistant whose name is David. David told Reesa, oh, Legion is at a meeting right now, but if you really need him, I'm gonna go get Legion. Legion is gonna drop everything and come to the hospital right away. Then Reesa was like, you know what, never mind. I'm just calling him to give him some update. Just tell him to be there to pick me up by the time I wake up. She woke up from the anesthesia. Legion picked her up from the hospital. Now she's recovering from the surgery and Legion's taking care of her. And a couple days later, Legion asked her again, hey, do you want to start looking for houses soon? And Reesa was like, sure. But this time, I want to be a part of everything, all aspects. Because last time she was like a buffoon. She wasn't even the clown anymore. She's the whole circus. Because the whole house hunting just got her fucked up. And also, I don't want to work with your friend because I don't trust his ass. Legion's like, sure, you got it. And she found another house. Perfect. It was asking for $699,000. But the hiccup was the house had a unfinished basement. So Legion was like, you know what, I'm gonna put an all cash offer to see if we're accepted, but I want the owner to finish the basement first. All cash offer? Reesa was like, are you that rich? Do you have that much money laying around? Then the offer fell through. The owner rejected them because he was probably thinking, I don't want to finish the basement. You finish that, you're gonna buy the house. But Reesa wasn't mad about this because at least she knows this time it wasn't because of Legion. It was because of something else. So they started looking for other houses. They found another one. They actually toured the house, really loved it. The problem was there was a septic tank next to the house. Well, that was a no-no. And at this point, they have looked for many houses. They all fell off. So they decided to take another break on looking for houses. Now they're looking for cars. When Reesa met Legion, Reesa was driving a 2012 Nissan and Legion was driving a 2018 Ford Taurus. And he told Reesa that one of the perks of being the VP in that department is he has a $90,000 budget to get a new car. Then he was like, babe, let me buy you a new car. And to just put it into perspective for you, a 2024 BMW X6 in the United States is sold from $65,000. So $90,000 is a lot. Okay, we're not talking about Lamborghini, but a Range Rover, a Mercedes, easy, a piece of cake. Then they spent a lot of time going to the dealership. They went to Mercedes, BMW, Range Rover, Jaguar, and etc. In the end, Legion decided on getting a BMW sedan. They test drove the car, they really loved it. Then Legion asked the salesperson to have a printout of it's like an invoice. So Legion pulled out his phone in front of Reesa and the car salesperson because he needed to talk to the person from the finance department. And he was like, let me demonstrate. He was like, hello, I'm at BMW right now and I'm getting a car. Do you want me to send you all the information in the picture? Okay, no problem. He did that in front of their eyes. And 10 minutes later, he called them again, but it turns out the person who was supposed to dealing with the wire transferring went home for the day. Then Legion was like, okay, so we're gonna do this tomorrow, first thing in the morning tomorrow. Then, well, there was no tomorrow. They never went back to that BMW. Then a couple days later, Legion asked Reesa, what about Audi? Do you like Audi? Let's go to Audi. So they went to Audi. They test drove the car. They really loved it. And Legion did the same shit. But this time, he said, you know what? I'm just gonna buy this car with my own money from the offshore bank. So he pulled out the phone in front of Reesa and the salesperson in Audi. He was like, hello? Hey, I want you to transfer me $72,000. Yeah, because I'm getting a car right now. Oh, you want my bank information? Do I want to tell you on the phone or should I just send you an email? Okay, I'll send you an email. I'll call you back. Then the next day, he told Reesa they already wired the money and he just got off a phone from the person in Audi. They already got the money. So they're shipping the car to us. They're going to deliver the car today. He said, are you going to be home from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.? They're going to deliver the car today. Reesa was like, sure, I'll be home. And obviously, between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., bitch, nothing happened. So Reesa she called Legion. She was like, where the fuck is the car? Where the fuck is Audi? Legion was like, oh yeah, they just called me. They said the car was stuck on the delivery truck. So it's gonna be here next week. I'll buy with my own money because at this point she's physically and mentally fatigued. They have been spending their weekends either looking for houses or looking for cars. And the worst thing is they're not getting anything. There's no house, there's no car. Reesa was like, what the fuck? I mentioned this before about Legion's brothers. Apparently he's very close with his brothers. He would spend at least 30 to 35 minutes every single morning talking to them on the phone. And he did that every single day before he goes to work. So the conversations usually go like, okay, let me show it to you. Hey bro, what you cooking today? Oh, barbecue? Nice. Oh, she's watching TV. Hey babe, my brother say hi to you. Then Reesa would be like, hey, how are you? So the conversation usually is like back and forth. Reesa and the brothers, they never actually talked to the phone. It was always through Legion. And this day, he got a call from his brother telling him that his grandmother just passed away from COVID. And obviously he was devastated, he was crying, he was like, oh my god, grandmother. Because of the COVID, he couldn't even be back for the funeral. And I also talked about his sisters, right? And one of his sisters lives in Georgia. So Legion had brought it up so many times. Like he always invite Reesa to have a cookout party with his sister. He wanted them to get to know each other since they're going to marry. So Reesa finally agreed on meeting his sister, and on the way to the sister's house, Legion got a phone call from his sister saying something came up. The barbecue party had to cancel. And 3 weeks later, his uncle passed away from COVID as well. So apparently, everyone in his family are dying from COVID left and right. I know a lot of people are probably wondering like, oh my god, she's so dumb. How can she not suspect anything? That is so weird. So Reesa explained the reason why Legion was able to get away with a lot of things, it was because everything happened in COVID. Like it was at the peak of the pandemic. So everything just seemed very reasonable, not even to Reesa, to the realtor, to the car salespeople. They all thought it was. And if this happened to anybody else who's not a pathological liar, and we're probably gonna think, oh yeah, it happens. It makes sense. And now you're listening to me telling you the story. You probably have that 上帝视角, so everything to you might sound suspicious, might sound fishy, but remember, Reesa didn't have that at the time. She didn't know. And let me give you a rundown of what had happened thus far. I know there are lots of information. So they met in March. They moved in together in the beginning of April. Reesa got pregnant in May. She lost the baby in June. She had the surgery in July. And they started looking for houses and cars in August. And it was also in August, Legion bought her a car. And it was not BMW, it was not Audi, it was a Nissan Altima. And he only paid for a down payment. So, yeah. And now it's fall. In October, the holiday season is coming. They're looking for other houses. They found another house. It was asking for $700,000. Okay, let me lubricate. The owner accepted. He's like, sure, show me your proof of funds so we can go from here. I can sell you the house. Then Legion was like, no, you need to accept the offer first. Then I will show you my proof of funds. He explained he was afraid if the owner saw he has that much money laying around, the owner will probably jack up the price and start a bidding war. So everybody was just confused. They were just like discombobulated. Okay, they were like, you need to show your proof of funds to get a house. That's inevitable. Like, who the fuck is going to sell you a house without any proof of funds? Like, that makes no sense. Then Reesa was like, just show them your proof of funds. What's the problem? Then Legion was like, no, I'm not budging on this. I don't want to show them proof of funds until everything is like official. Then even the realtor, he was like, hey, I'm sorry. I should have asked your proof of funds in the get-go. This is something I fucked up. Now my broker is telling me I'm not able to show you any more houses until you guys show me the proof of funds. Then Legion was like, oh my god, this is so unprofessional. How can he do that? See, this is why I don't want to show them because I don't trust them. And at this point, they're like 20 to 25 houses deep. And imagine you have been spending your time, your weekends looking for 25 houses already. But nothing, you're getting nothing out of this. The holidays are coming. Now Reesa's like, you know what? I just want to get through this holiday, this new year without looking for another fucking house. Let's do that in January. Okay, we're gonna pause on looking for houses now because I don't want to deal with this shit no more. She just kept asking herself, was he lying? But I saw everything. I saw the phone call. I saw the paperwork. I saw the documents. I saw everything. And why would he even lie? I didn't even ask him to do that. Why would somebody go this far to lie? So Reesa realized, yes, that's true. In some way, Legion was lifting her financial burdens up. But there's a price to pay. Her mental health was deteriorating because of that. At the beginning of December, they started talking about marriage. Since both of them have religious backgrounds, their families are kind of just putting pressure on them. And that's how they got married. They filed for marriage license. So on the marriage license, they will ask you some personal information, your previous marriages or your social security number. So Reesa put down 0. Legion put down 1 because he was divorced once. And for the social security number, because I have a lot of Chinese audience, let me tell you, if you don't know what social security number is. So a social security number is a series of number. Everyone's social security number is unique. They're all different. My social security number is different than other people's social security number. So a social security number is used for applying jobs, file taxes, file for credit cards, getting a house, like basically all financial related. Okay, so this number, you have to keep it to yourself. Keep it under the bag, put it in the refrigerator. Like, you don't tell nobody. It's that important. You don't tell your partners. You don't tell your parents. What? That's a little far-fetched, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's very important because if somebody knows your social security number and your address and like some other information, they can fuck your life up. So while Legion was writing down the social security number, Reesa kind of just like memorized mentally. So she went home. She did a background check, a criminal history check with that social security number. But surprisingly, nothing came out. Okay, maybe he was a good citizen because Legion had told Reesa that his father was a police officer. So that's why he grew up just always having like the biggest respect for law enforcement officers. And Reesa herself, she's also a civilian officer. Okay, maybe he was a good citizen. That's what Reesa thought. And on January 5th, they got married. So she thought this will last forever. It's an everlasting love. Okay, we're only on part 15. 35 more parts to go. For the first 2 weeks of their marriage, everything was fine. But slowly, Legion started making comments about the way she dresses. He would be like, okay, is that what you wear to work? And every time Legion has called her at work, if there's a male voice in the background, Legion would just like, oh my god, who's that? Are you cheating on me? Like, are you with somebody else? Like, who's that? And Reesa was like, Where the fuck is that coming from? That's so weird. Legion has a very set schedule. He always goes to work at 6:15 and he always comes back around 4:30 to 5. But ever since they got married, like 2 weeks later after the marriage, he started coming home late, like half an hour to 1 hour late. She noticed there's some nuance of differences, and Risa's lease ends on August. That means they have to move out. They have to have a place ready before the lease is over. And another reason why she's so adamant about moving is one day, Legion came home and told her that her female neighbor was eyeing on him, had a crush on Legion. Legion told Reesa that this whole thing happened since January. He would come home, finding out the neighbor would do things to draw his attention, and she would bring other men home. So February comes, and it was Reesa's birthday month. And the weekend after Reesa's birthday, Legion had decided to give her some money to treat her to a nail spa. So while she's doing her nails, relaxing, doing some spas, Legion texted her, "Someone was looking for you." Who? I don't know. Someone you probably used to fuck with. So Reesa was confused. First of all, who would even show up uninvited, unnoticed, without any prior notice? Like, that was very rude. And secondly, before meeting Legion, she was single for a year. So she literally knew every person every male, every man who she had brought to this house. Even the plumber. Like, you can count it by fingers. So Reesa came home. Legion told her somebody pulled over with a black Dodge Charger, and he parked right into the driveway. It seems like he's very familiar with this place. A black Dodge Charger? I don't know anybody who drives that car. Well, you know what? The fact that you're acting this way is very suspicious. Why are you freaking out? What have you been up to? So Reesa was mad, confused, and disrespected. And she asked Legion, like, okay, what did the person look like? And Legion gave her the most generic answer. He said, oh, he was shorter than me, brown-skinned. He was wearing a cap. Was he muscular or skinny? He was in between. Bitch, that answer didn't help at all, because at this point it could be Kanye or Barack Obama. Like, who the fuck knows? So out of nowhere, Legion started nitpicking, I guess. I don't know why he did that, but what Legion didn't know is Reesa actually had a security system. So every time the door opens or closes, she's going to receive a text message notification. So the notification showed the front door opened and closed within 1 minute. And according to what Legion said, he saw a guy parked into the driveway, got off the car, asking to see Reesa, and upon learning Reesa was not there, he got in the car, drove away. And because of the house setup, Legion had to physically leave the door open to see the guy drive off. So you're telling me everything happened under 1 minute? That's sus. I don't believe that. And on top of that, her neighbor actually had a ring door camera that can capture both of their driveways. So Reesa had to text her neighbor to ask, hey, can you check if there's anybody showed up at my driveway at this time period? And guess what? Bitch. No one showed up. So why the fuck would he lie about this? So a few weeks later, they went out to a restaurant for a date. As they were leaving, Legion asked Reesa, have I ever shown you where my grandmother was buried?
Huh?
Lisa was like,
What?
no. Then he took her to the cemetery. 미쳤어. 진짜 미쳤어. Who said romance is dead? You know, taking a partner to a cemetery for a date. So she saw the tombstone. But on the top of the tombstone, there was only the last name of the deceased person. After the cemetery tour, they were just driving around looking all the skyscrapers in the city. Then Legion pointed at one of the tall buildings right there. He's like, you see that tall building right there? Reesa was like, yeah. That building, behind the building, is where my office is where the company is. That's also where I parked my $90,000 car. Can you see that? Well, she could barely see shit. It could be any building. Why the fuck would a condiment company have a building in downtown? That doesn't make any sense. Then Legion explained, oh, that's not for production. That's just for business. Then Reesa was like, take me there. I want to see your company. I want to see your office today, right now. Take me there. Then Legion's like, okay. On the way to the building, whatever the fuck that building is, nobody fucking knows. Legion pulled out his phone. He's doing that shit again. And apparently this time he's calling the security guy whose name is Willie. He's like, hello? Where do you work today? Oh, can you let me in? Because my badge won't work during the weekends. Oh, my wife wanted to see where I work. She wants to see my office. Funny. Uh-huh. What about the other guy? Is he working tonight? Okay, get back to me. Okay. So apparently, Willie is not working tonight. And the person who's supposed to be working tonight, he called off sick. So you're telling me there's a top building in downtown right now. There's no security in that building. Not a single security in that building right now. Bitch, even an abandoned asylum will have securities in there. And one thing about Legion that you need to know is, you probably already knew, he likes to brag. He likes to show off. So remember he said that that's where he parked the building. That's where he parked his $90,000 company car. And he will always call Reesa. He's like, you know what? I'm actually inside of my company car right now. Man, I'm just tired. Oh, I'm sorry. Man, I'm just tired. I might just drive the company car home directly. I don't even want to switch to my own car. He will always call Reesa and tell her that. He always said that, but never actually show Reesa the car. It's all talk, no action. The beginning of March comes. And if you know Reesa in person, in real life, you would know that Reesa always has a dream. Going to London and Paris. She always wanted to visit the Buckingham Palace or the Palace of Versailles. That was her dream. Okay, and she told Legion about this. So one day she came home from work. There's a folder on the table. So apparently it was a surprise from Legion. Legion said, open it, it's a surprise. So Reesa opened the folder. It was a trip itinerary. It's not flight tickets, but trip itineraries. They're like flyers and shit. He already booked everything. He made reservation. He even made a reservation at Savoy. It's like a 5-star luxury. I've never been there, but whoever lives in the UK or if you've ever been there, let me know in the comments if it's good. So obviously, Reesa was like, oh my god, really? She was excited, bitch. Girl, you never learn. You never fucking learn, Reesa. Legion not only likes to boast about his wealth, he also likes to brag about how one of his core value was honesty. He told Reesa that he never lies. He would never lie to her. He's just so honest. And he even gave Reesa his passcode for his phone. And that night, Legion was taking a shower. A message had popped up on his phone. So the preview message showed, and it reads, when are you coming to get this? So immediately she just clicked in. She started reading, she started scrolling up. Well, it takes no genius to find out that Legion was cheating. But what made Reesa infuriated the most was his pretense of innocence. Because Legion had been acting like he just got spritzed with holy water when he's around her. Now he's acting like a freak on the internet with other people. So she was thinking, okay, so you're telling me the person who sleeps on the other side of the bed with me every single night, who lives under the same roof with me, typed all the nasty shit on the internet? Who is this person? I don't know this person. If 2 + 2 is 4, 5 + 5 is 10, then what the fuck is this? So she confronted him. Legion told Reesa, I'm so sorry. I didn't know who that girl is. I was just flirting. We just met on the internet. I didn't mean anything. Don't be so emotional. Don't be so dramatic. And Risa's self-esteem really took a hit. She's out here second guessing, gaslighting herself. Was it because of me? Was I not attractive anymore? Now, just to clear some confusion, because of her relationship with God, her religious background did influence her marriage. So instead of just getting a divorce directly, she chose to have a marriage counseling. It's almost like getting a refrigerator. When the refrigerator is broken, some people would choose to fix it, while others will opt for a new one. Then Lisa took Legion to see her pastor and his wife. Legion explained, hey, like, I'm so sorry, I fucked up, okay? I really apologize. That you either gonna forgive me or not. Nani? Well, the supermarket was probably on sale that day because the audacity was fucking full of it. And Reesa also mentioned that Legion was making all cash offer but never showed any proof of funds. The reason why she mentioned this was because Legion had mentioned to Reesa that since they're married now, he wanted to open a joint account so they can both put money into the savings for the household bills. Then she said, sure, let's show each other how much money we all have so we can see what is it that we're working on. So Legion has showed her one bank account, which it has like two separate accounts, one checking account, one saving account. So he had $9,000 and $15,000. Then Reesa asked to see other two accounts, especially the offshore account. She wants to see that, like, how much money do you have in that offshore account? Then Legion was like, no, I'm not showing you how much money I have in that account. I'm not showing you. So everybody in that room, Reesa, the pastor, the pastor's wife, they were all confused. Like, why didn't you wanted to show the proof of funds? She's your wife. Why didn't you want to show your wife how much money you have? Then Legion just got all defensive. He was holding his arm. He's like, nobody can tell me who, when, where I should show my money to. Okay, that's my hard-earned money by playing football. I earned every penny with my own blood, sweat, and tears. Nobody can tell me what to do. And he started playing the victim card. He started flipping the script, saying like he was the victim because his wife had cheated on him, was like trying to take away all of his money. Then he started talking about his uncle. He's like, you know what, my uncle always tells me, never show your money to nobody, blah blah blah. Then he's like, you know what, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore, bye bitch. At the end of April, Reesa started looking for a new job because she just didn't like the fact that she was depending on Legion for paying for the household bill. Because she was completely fine before meeting Legion. She was taking care of herself. So she's looking for a new job, and the new job was asking for a background packet. So the background packet was asking for her phone name, her spouse phone name, social security number, her spouse social security number. Remember how Reesa memorized Legion's social security number when Legion was writing for the marriage license? But just to play dumb, Reesa still asked Legion to write down the social security number. Then Legion gave her the social security number, very reluctant. And guess what? It's a different social security number. Obviously, she did a background check like any other rational person would do. And surprisingly, the social security number has shown 3 locations: Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Georgia. There's no any sign of California. Now things started opening up in May, including schools. Then Reesa contacted the San Diego State, the registrar. She was asking, hey, like, can I get a transcript if I give you the social security number of the person and the name? And they were like, sure, just send us an email. So he sent an email with Legion's name and the social security number, and the email got back to her saying there's no record of the person ever attended that school. Then she brought it up to Legion. She asked, why is there no records of you attending San Diego State? So immediately Legion was like, yeah, because I was a private citizen. What the fuck is private citizen? So apparently, according to Legion, his dad paid money to the school to keep his identity hidden. So there's no record of him ever attended that school. And he had a special student card with no name, no picture on it. But every time if he needed to use the library or he needed to log in the website, he could just swipe it. Then Reesa was like, but you said you played for football. How come there's no picture or any record of you ever played football for the school? Well, believe it or not, I was a private citizen. My dad paid good money for that, to keep my identity hidden.
I'm about to beat this bitch up.
And it was also this time Legion came home with an injured knee. He told Reesa that he had injured at work. But slowly the knee injury just got worsened. He started losing appetite, he started losing weight. And in mid-May, he got a call from his stepson telling him that his stepdaughter had passed away. You guessed it, from COVID. Yeah. So he called Reesa to ask if it was okay to give $2,000 to his ex-wife for the funeral. Reesa was like, yeah, sure. Anything that we can help. Okay? Because in Reesa's mind, she was thinking, okay, who would lie about that? When Reesa was running a background check on Legion, she also found his ex-wife's info. Not info, just the name attached under. So she tried to look it up on social media, but she couldn't find anything. Then she went to the county court website to check if there's any additional information, because apparently if you ever been to court, either for like divorce or somebody has sued you, your information will be stored in the website. Since she's an officer, she knows ways to track down someone. Because like, here's the thing, if she really wants to find somebody, she could use the computer at work, but she didn't. She chose to go to the legit way. So she went to the court and requested all the documents, and she found out that the last marriage with her ex-wife didn't even last 6 months, and it was the ex-wife who filed for divorce. She also found out that in this divorce, Legion also filed for a pauper affidavit. So long story short, a pauper affidavit is this person is so poor that he couldn't even afford the divorce fee. So that's why he filed this. And he was served at a grocery store. Imagine he was just like looking for food at the grocery store. Somebody just approached him, hey, are you Legion? He's like, yeah, you're served. And on the documents, there's the ex-wife's information, the name, the address, and the phone number. And obviously, she did what any rational person would do. She called the phone number. Then she introduced herself. She said, hey, my name is Reesa. I'm currently married to Legion. Then on the other side of the phone, silence. Pause. Then the ex-wife said, if you are calling me, then things are bad, huh? Reesa said, I'm sorry to disrupt your life or bother you, but you're the only person who knows exactly what happened and who knows what I'm going through. Okay, so what is it that you want to know? Oh, I understand that you talk to my husband sometimes. Oh, wait, what? Who told you we were talking? I haven't talked to him ever since the divorce. Girl, remember? Whatever Legion tells you, it's a lie. Let me guess. He told you I cheated on him, right? He told you I wanted money from him, right? Listen, I would appreciate if you can leave me out of this. I want nothing from him, okay? Then Reesa said, you have my word. I would never tell him that I have never spoke to you. Never. I just wanted to know, how bad is it? Oh, it's bad. It's bad, girl. But whatever it is, don't blame on yourself. It's not our fault. So after talking to the ex-wife, everything was the opposite. So apparently Legion got kicked out from the house by his ex-wife. And after he got kicked out, before meeting Reesa, Legion was living with his ex-girlfriend. And remember the sister I had told you who lives 45 minutes away, who's a nurse? It was the ex-girlfriend. So the sister was not a sister, it was his ex-girlfriend. And before they hung up, Reesa asked one last question to the ex-wife. She said, how's your daughter? My daughter's fine. What he said about my daughter. Reesa just didn't have the heart to tell her Legion lied about her daughter died in the COVID. She just brushes it off saying, oh yeah, he mentioned something about your daughter catching COVID. And a couple days later, when Legion was limping on the bed, she decided to look up his mom's obituary. So obituary can tell you a lot of things. When a person dies, when they have an obituary for the deceased person, so the obituary listed all of the family members, the mother, the father, 2 brothers with their wives, and Legion and his wife Latoya. Who the fuck is Latoya? I mind you, Latoya was not the ex-wife's name. So who the fuck was Latoya? And where the fuck are the 2 sisters? And let me tell you, this whole marriage has turned Reesa into FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security. So she looked up the divorce record. Apparently, this time it was Legion who filed for the divorce in 2016. And both of them had a temporary protection order against each other. And they divorced in Rhode Island. She also looked up for his grandmother, the one who died from COVID according to him. And guess the fuck what? She died in July 2008. And at the same time, his knee injury has been deteriorating. And it all started from he got injured at his work, slowly turned into injury from playing football. Then the pain just got worsened. And it became excruciating. He couldn't even walk. He couldn't even eat. He lost a lot of weight. And now it's debilitating. He's bed resting. He couldn't even walk. He has to elevate his leg 24/7. Now Reesa was like, okay, this is definitely just hitting your knee at work, that kind of simple. Something else was going on. Yes, I teleported because it was 12 o'clock and I had to eat, take a shower. It's time to go to bed. So at a certain time, my body would just tell me, okay, it's time for you to go to bed. Even if I wasn't sleepy, even if I wasn't ready to go to bed, I have to physically prepare and I have to be on my bed. I was like, I'm not gonna sit on my chair for another 2 hours talking about the story. But anyway, let's continue. We're heading into June right now. And Legion's knee was so bad, it got to the point that Reesa thought it was a tumor. She was thinking, okay, it's definitely not gonna be as simple as just the injury. And Reesa also noticed that Legion had 2 phones, one work phone and one personal phone. So she checked the work phone from the condiment company. Since he already quit the company, the phone was deactivated, but all the messages was still there. So he checked the message and there was a message from him and another girl whose name is Peaches.
Just as I thought. Trash.
They met on the dating website, and judging by the name, you probably have guessed it already. She's a prostitute. So she was flipping through the messages, and it goes all the way back in May. And the message reads, "That was great. Thank you." In the morning of June 17th, it was also Legion's birthday, and he was in the gas bedroom because he was constantly moaning in pain and he has to elevate his leg, so it's best for him to just sleep by himself. So Reesa walked in. He was watching some YouTube videos about fixing motorcycles or whatever. She was sitting on the side of the bed. She said, "Can we talk?" Legion was like, "Yeah, sure, what's up?" "You never went to San Diego State, did you?" Legion rolled his eyes. He was like, "Jesus fucking Christ, I already told you I was a private citizen." "Calm down. Watch your tone. You never lived in California, did you?" "Of course I did. I fucking show you the picture. I've called the San Diego State. They don't have the record of you studying there." Legion was looking at Reesa, emotionless. It was almost like, so what? "You never lived in California, did you? You probably only lived in Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Rhode Island, did you?" And now she's getting some emotion out of Legion. It was almost like, how did you know that? "I don't think this is gonna work, Legion." "What? This marriage?" "I think we need to go our separate ways." "This is not what marriage is. You're supposed to fight for this." "No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be with you. I want a divorce." "I'm not giving up." "Well, you don't have a choice. You need to pack your bag and call your brothers or your sisters and get the fuck out of my house now. Legion picked up his phone. He called his aunt saying, my wife don't want me anymore. I never lied to her. She always said I lied to her. I never lied to her. And suddenly, Reesa just snapped. All the calmness, all the nonchalance just out the window. She snapped like a balloon, just it exploded. Then Reesa called her mom. She started cursing his ass out, cursing like there's no tomorrow. She's looking around to see if there's any objects she can use it as a weapon. She was looking at the lamp. She was looking at the TV. She's like, oh my fucking god, I'm gonna fucking kill him. She was losing her marble. She completely lost it. She was keeping cool until now. Then her mom was like, let me talk to Legion. Reesa handed the phone to Legion. And her mom's like, Legion, I'm not here, so I can't control my daughter. But for the love of God, you need to go now. My child, just pack your stuff, because if you don't leave there, she's gonna kill you. And Legion was lying on the bed. He told Reesa, don't talk to me like that. You're not gonna do anything to me. Don't talk to me like you done lost your fucking mind. Then slowly, Reesa came closer to Legion's face. She said, verbatim, that's exactly what she said. She said, I'll beat you like the bitch you are. And she's looking at the lamp. And Legion's looking at her, looking at the lamp. And probably thinking, okay, if I don't get up right now, the light bulb is probably going to be in my mouth the next second. Then she took the house key out of his keychain. Then about 2 hours later, he packed something. He's like, are you really going to kick me out on my birthday? Reesa was like, get the fuck out now. After she kicked him out, and immediately she went to the store and purchased a new lock. And she explained the reason why she asked him all the questions before kicking him out was because she just hoped, at least for the last time, Legion can be honest with her at least once. So he moved out at 1:30, and by 2:30, she already packed everything because he left in a hurry. He still had a lot of stuff, like his WWE Championship belts or like his AJs and lots of stuff, like paperwork and documents. And she tossed everything that Legion had to touch, like the pillowcases, the bed sheet. She was thinking about having a burn party and do a live stream, but she had a heart. That's what she said. So from June 18th to the 24th, all the conversation they had was just about the divorce. Then Reesa got a call from Legion's cousin. So apparently after she kicked him out, he had told all of his family members that the reason why she kicked him out was because she was sleeping with another man. And that man was a police officer. He was threatened to kill him with a gun. The reason why the cousin called was because nobody believed him. Because they all knew Legion was a pathological liar. And that's why the cousin called, because she wanted to know the truth. Then the cousin said, oh, we didn't even know he's married. He never mentioned you before. Reesa was like, what do you mean he never mentioned me? He talked to the brothers every single day. What brothers? His brothers. All brothers. Exactly how many brothers do you think he has? He told me he has 4 brothers. 4 brothers? He only had 2 brothers, 1 twin brother and 1 older brother. Reesa was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is that twin brother? I've never heard nothing about the twin brother. He has a twin brother? Legion has a twin brother who's 20 minutes older than him. And he has another brother who's 5 years older than him. That's the only 2 brothers that he had. And as long as for the 2 half brothers, no, we don't have that. No, that was a lie.
None.
Then the cousin asked Reesa, then who the fuck were the sisters you were talking about? Shantae and Kim. Well, I don't know who the fuck Shantae is, but Kim is my daughter. They haven't been spoke to each other for 20 years. What about the uncle who died from COVID? She asked. Oh, he'd been dead since 2010. So everything was a lie. Oh, he also told us that you guys have a baby boy together. Then Reesa had to explain the miscarriage. Then the cousin said, girl, you dodged the bullet. I know we're family or something, but I wouldn't wish him on any other woman. Around June 25th, and after Reesa had talked to the cousin, so basically Lee Jin just got kicked out from the family. And now she's waiting for him to sign the divorce papers so they can go separate ways. They agreed on meet at the UPS because there's a notary there if they need the divorce paper to be notarized. And it's only been a week since the last time they seen each other. The last time was when Reesa kicking him out of the house, and Lee Jin had lost a lot of weight due to the knee injury, and his condition was very bad. He looked dirty, he smelled very bad, and he smelled like he just tripped and fell into a dumpster, a septic tank. For a moment, when Reesa got out of the car, like she didn't even realize that was Lee Jin. Reesa just handed him the divorce paper. She's like, sign it. After he signed everything, Reesa had walked him to the car, then give him $6. She said, go get some chicken nuggets. As she was walking Lee Jin to the car, she saw the condition of the car. So apparently Lee Jin has been living inside of his car and the condition was just bad. At this point, all the questions about the offshore account just went out the window. There's no offshore account. There was never offshore account. Then she said, I'll send you the divorce decree once it's granted. Then she just drove off. So the divorce usually takes about a month to finalize. Now let's talk about what had happened in this time period. So when Lee Jin got kicked out of the house, he left a bag that had all the paperwork and documents. So the paperwork had shown that Lee Jin worked at the condiment company before, but got terminated. And obviously his position was not VP. He also worked as a forklift and a loader. He worked at the cemetery before. The same cemetery that he took her to see the grandma's tombstone. So the truth is, the person who buried there, it was just pure coincidence that they shared the last name. They had no relation. For some reason, Lee Jin just took that as an opportunity. So after he got fired from the condiment company, he had been receiving unemployment checks before meeting Reesa. And on top of that, this is the most fucked up thing. She found paperwork from county jail. So apparently, Lee Jin was in weekender jail. Y'all, I didn't even know this. I learned this from Reesa. So apparently, let's just say if you have a 60-day sentence and you also have a full-time job. So you have the option to go to jail on the weekends. So on Monday to Friday, you're just as normal as the rest of us. From Friday to Sunday, you're going to serve jail time. That's called the weekender jail. I was like, what? After talking to his cousin, Reesa also had a conversation with his older brother. She asked him, when was the last time that you spoke with Lee Jin? 2015, after mother's funeral. What about all the phone calls in the morning? What phone calls? I don't know who the fuck he was talking, but that ain't definitely me, because he knows if I ever saw him, I'll whoop his ass. So apparently, for the past 5 months, Lee Jin was pretending to be on the phone with someone every single morning for about like 30 to 35 minutes every single day. And there was no one on the other side of the phone. He was pretending to talk to someone. Y'all. That was some dedications, y'all. That is absolutely bonkers. I've never heard such a thing. And according to the older brother, a brief introduction about Lee Jin's twin brother. So apparently his twin brother is a VP in his company. He's married. He lives in a big house, drives a bougie car, ring a bell. It seems like Lee Jin has stole his twin brother's identity and pretended that was him. And his brother also asked Reesa, like, have you ever met any of his family members? Yeah, His aunt. What aunt? Oh yeah, her name is so and so. Oh, that's not our aunt. That's our mother's best friend, and I don't trust that hoe. He also told Reesa that his father was a truck driver. He was once a correctional officer, but he was never a police officer. And his mother was not a teacher. Is your daughter's name Egypt? Who the fuck is Egypt? He told me that was your daughter's name. We actually went to the mall together. We bought her a pair of shoes. I actually went to the post office myself and I shipped it off for her. So you're telling me he's actually buying kids' shoes for God knows who? Then Risa was flipping through the work phone. It was deactivated, but all the data, all the pictures, the messages was still there. So she opened the deleted folder. She found a bunch of pictures, screenshots. Then she did a reverse image search. All the pictures Legion had showed her. The house in San Diego, the car back in San Diego, bank statements, the documents, the $9,000 and the $15,000 checking account, saving account. They were all screenshots from Google. Nothing was fucking real. Okay, if you're wondering how come Legion was able to pay for the rent, the utilities, I forgot to mention that Risa's rent was very cheap because she lived in Georgia. Like, it's not New York or Los Angeles. So her rent was only like $1,000. So I guess Legion was working at a time when she met Risa, and he was working enough to pay for the rent. But other than that, he just didn't have that much money for a house or for a car, shit like that. Then Legion would call Risa every now and then, but he didn't know that Risa had spoke to the ex-wife, the brothers, and all the family members. So basically, she knew everything, but Legion didn't know that. And Risa picked up the phone to see if Legion was still that lying son of a bitch. So she asked Legion, have you ever arrested before? Yeah, I was arrested as a juvenile, but my father paid money to get the record expunged. Why did you tell your aunt that we had a baby together? No, I didn't tell her that. She's old, she can't remember shit. Then Risa asked him, why did you marry me? You could have just lived your best life as someone else's boyfriend. You don't have to marry me. I never asked you to marry me. Why did you do that? Then Risa said Legion's answer, like, scared the shit out of her. Like, seriously, she's gonna remember this shit forever. Legion said, I had to. Because I know you wouldn't stay as my girlfriend long enough, so I had to marry you. That's the only way to keep you around. Then Risa ran a criminal background check on Legion. Wow, shit. Not only he was arrested for trespassing, suspended registration, suspended license, and on top of that, he was arrested for impersonating an officer, and that is a felony. So basically, he was impersonating as a police officer by using his dad's badge. Remember, his dad was a correctional officer. It was not a police officer, but there was still a badge, and regular people couldn't really decipher that. So he was using that badge and telling people he's a police officer. He went inside an apartment building. He said, let's do a drug search. So he was pat down a lady who just happened to be a real police officer. That's how he got caught. You know, sometimes I really couldn't fathom, like, what the fuck are you thinking, Legion? Why would you even do that? And while she's waiting for the divorce paper to be finalized, she reached out to Legion to discuss some legal issues. But he disappeared. He's gone. He's nowhere to be found. So he was disappeared for 2 weeks. No one had caught him, no one cared for him, no one had to look for him, and come to find out, he actually checked himself into a mental hospital. Because it was in July, it was hot, and he didn't have the money to turn on the air conditioner. So he checked himself into the mental health facility. When he checked himself in, they confiscated his phone. You probably think I made up everything. I didn't. That's exactly the story. I am telling you this story just as Reesa had told me. Okay? Sometimes I just don't believe like the words coming out of my mouth. I was like, what the fuck did I just say? Like, was it real? That doesn't make any sense. So after he got released from the mental hospital, he called Reesa, and the first thing he said was, I'm ready to come back. Reesa was like, what the actual fuck?
Whatever that means.
So apparently, when he was in the mental hospital, someone, we don't know who, has been talking to his ears, telling him, by law, you can actually move back because at this point that you guys are still married. Reesa's house is considered as a marital house. As long as you guys are not divorced yet, you're still legal to live inside of this house. That's why Legion called Reesa. He was like, babe, I'm coming back. Then Reesa was like, no fucking way. I'd rather die than letting you move back in. There were some options. Basically, they were not good. Okay, so she could either let him in and let him sleep in the guest bedroom, but she doesn't have to talk to him. Or she can let him in and also let the police officer document everything because they have like a body cam. They can take pictures or videos of everything and she can move the fuck out. So that way she doesn't have to live with him. Or she can let him in and they can live under the same roof and she can live with him miserably. 미쳤어. 지금 무슨 situation이야? And at this point, Reesa was freaking out. She had called the chief of police, the police captain. She was trying all avenues. She's like, oh my fucking god. And it seems like Legion had gave her the ultimatum. He's like, I'll be home at Friday. Be prepared. And on Thursday, the police captain called Reesa and told her he ran Legion's name into the GCIC system. And apparently, Legion had a warrant for his violation for his probation. And that changes everything because now he's wanted. Okay, the police are coming for his blood. Then he told her, okay, if he ever shows up tomorrow, just call me. I'll send officers over to arrest him. And Friday came. He showed up to the house and Reesa was watching him from the fleet car. She wasn't in the Nissan. She dialed 911. She's like, my ex-husband just showed at my place and I feel like I'm in danger. Please send help. So the officers came, they arrested him on the spot. And a female police officer came to Reesa, say, hey, he wanted to talk to you. Do you want to talk to him? Then she walked over to the car. Legion looked terrible because he wasn't eating and his cheeks was sunken in. And Legion was like, I'm so sorry. I should never bother you. I will never bother you again. I just want the TV. Please give me the TV. Then Reesa was like, what? You had me called 4 officers. And all the neighbors are watching me, completely making a fool out of myself. And now you're telling me you want the TV? The TV you give it to me for free. And I have the text messages to prove. No, fuck you. Then she walked off. The police took him in. She went inside. Everything was calm. Then, moments later, she went outside to get the mail. And you know what's in the mail? The divorce paper. So she saw the divorce paper and it completely broke down in tears. So Legion was arrested on the spot, but his car was still parked in her driveway. So Reesa had to call the car company and come to find out he had missed a lot of car payments.
Open the fuck up!
So the car was being repossessed and she also donated everything that he left in the house, all the clothes and shit, to a domestic violence shelter. And which means by the time that Legion got out, he will only have his wallet and a car key to a car that no longer belongs to him anymore. And now fast forward to August 29th. Reesa had found out that Legion's violation, the probation, had expired already. So when the police had arrested him, it was a valid arrest because at that time nobody had knew the probation was expired. But since the probation is expired, that means Legion will come out very soon after the hearing. So Reesa is supposed to move on the 31st. Now she's scared. What if he comes out early and he's here for retaliation, for retribution? He's here for blood. And thank God, no one died. And now fast forward to December of 2021. Reesa got a call from her coworker saying, hey, there's a guy whose name is Legion. He's looking for you. So after Reesa moved, she changed her address, she changed her phone number, she changed everything. But Legion still knew where she worked. That's why he called. He told the coworker he just wanted to get his stuffs back, but obviously the coworker didn't give him the info. And Legion also tried to reach out every single one that knew Reesa on Facebook. And her friend told her, just send him a text message because text message has timestamps on there. And the text message reads, I don't have your stuffs. You're causing a disruption in my workplace. If you ever contact me again directly or indirectly, I will file a restraining order against you. And that was the last time that Reesa had talked to her pathological, lying, cheating ex-husband. And now let's talk about the aftermath. Reesa came to a realization that Legion never loved her or even liked her. Why the fuck is my nose itching? He just simply wanted to fuck with her. He wanted to see her face light up for the things that she would never have. And it's not even about the money. He just liked getting her hopes high, then getting disappointed again. He liked to see when Reesa's face light up when he's taking her to test drive the cars for the house hunting, knowing that he would never able to give Reesa what she wanted it. Knowing that he would never make them into a reality. There's a level of cruelty from Legion that she had never experienced before, which is gonna scar her for good. And this whole experience did a huge impact on her mental health. Now she's having issues trusting others because one hand, she wanted to trust others. She wanted to make connections with other people, making friends, having relationships. But on the other hand, she was afraid. What if it's a repeat? What if she has to go through this shit again? Imagine meeting a person who lies about everything, like who just lies and lies, and who just keep feeding you lies. Nothing but lies. That is insane. That is insanity, okay? That is cuckoo banana. Bunkers. And in the end, Reesa said, being single sucks. But being in a marriage with the wrong person is another type of hell that no one should ever go through. She also said the reason why she decided to share her story to the whole internet is because if she can just save one person, and ladies and gentlemen, that is the story of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? By Reesa Teesa. A story about a lady who met a pathological lying, cheating man who completely fucked up her life and made her life miserable and scarred her for good. I would like to hear your opinions. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this story? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.